Hello, this is Nibi, and I wanted to document this event. One of my neighbors, very kind, it was very nice of her, but they gave me some hot cocoa mix as well as some Kahlua. And it's a bad idea because me and caffeine in general, it's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Not even a little bit. But, oh well. Tastes pretty good. I might put some more Kahlua in it. There you go. We'll see how this tastes. But, excuse me. Anyway, whenever I drink any caffeine, like have any caffeine in general, it stays in my system for at least 24 hours, and maybe that's just me. I feel like I should get a light. Hold on. Alright. That's better. You can see me a little bit. Anyway. Oh my goodness. But, yeah. So, whenever I have any caffeine, I stay up usually for about 24 hours, or I just feel it. I get manic, like crazy. Oh, the door's open. I get crazy manic, and it's not great for anyone. Oh no. But, you know, it's Christmas time, so what else am I supposed to do? I am making this on Christmas because I have nothing better to do. Also, I thought the tea lights or whatever, the Christmas lights were going to be enough for seeing me, but no, they are not. So I need this bed lamp. But I've been wanting to make a video like later when it's dark out, basically, but now it is winter and the days go by faster, the sun goes by faster. That's going to be interesting later. Anyway, for anyone who did not spend time with their family, or they don't have really anyone to celebrate holidays with, especially if you're used to celebrating holidays with people, just know that you're not alone. I did spend part of my Christmas Eve / Christmas with a friend, and it was very nice. We basically just hung out and watched movies, and he taught me a little bit in boxing, some things that I am gonna try to figure out and actually practice doing it, but people are texting me, and that's not okay. Stop talking to me. People only seem to talk to me when I'm busy doing something. They're like, pay attention to me because, you know, I'm all important and stuff. But I'm only important when I am busy doing something, apparently. Otherwise, I get nothing for days. Oh well. I think today is a good day for a reading, don't you? Let's go for this deck. It's called a shadow work deck, and it's helped me, if nothing else, become less defensive. I'm still a little defensive and I'm working on that. It's something I'm healing from, is trauma from being consistently abused by a narcissist, because I was an inquisitive mind. And instead of being, excited that I wanted to learn more, it was anger for wanting to know more, which it still doesn't make any sense to me. But I grew up Christian, and I was told recently, I don't know how true this is, but I was told recently by my mom that the reason that she treated me like an outcast my whole life is because the church said that, oh, that one's important. Not going to look at it yet, but look at that background, or the back of the card. It's pretty. Anyway, but she said that the church said the way that I was acting meant that I would be an alcoholic and all kinds of different things. Just, in the eyes of a Christian, at least, a bad person. And so, as I got older, like when I first heard that, I was like, oh, okay, sounds good. And then I replayed it in my mind like I do with my mom saying anything to me. I'm like, that literally makes no sense. One of my favorite things to do is learn. And how is that looked at as bad? Unless you're a Pharisee. Like, if you're a Pharisee, that makes sense. Because controlling people are just not great in general. Someone trying to control you, it's not good. Whether it be family members or friends or strangers. I've had strangers try to control me in how I do anything. But, you know what, I'm going to take this off. If I can. I don't think I can. Never mind. But when you get controlled from a very young age, you feel like everything's your fault because you're led to believe that, which is never great. Oh, another one just fell out. Apparently it's time. Yes, okay. So, the way these work, they don't come with a booklet or anything, but it says right on the card what you're supposed to see. And since it's an oracle deck, you don't do, because with tarot decks, you do, if it's upside down, it's reversed. If it's right side up, it's regular, I guess, or upright. So the first card is uncompromising. It says, think about being fair and working in harmony with another person. So that's the first one. Second one is prejudice. I thought that was interesting that that came up. It says, what if you were categorized into a group and given attributes that were false without truly knowing who you are? Isn't that interesting? That's a problem that happens whether it's prejudiced against a certain color of people, basically. Sorry, Mike. If it's prejudiced against, I'm not going to go into names exactly, but one of my friends ended up disliking one of their parents. and I pulled cards for them, and I was like, you really like making fun of this parent. That's what this tells me. It was other things too, but I was like, you enjoy doing this. Have you ever heard their story about their life? They were like, no, I know nothing about them. And so it was like, you need to sit down, remember to listen, instead of, just deciding who this person is. They don't know anything about them. So how are you supposed to actually place judgment on someone that you don't know? That's never a good thing, whether they are a toxic person or not, in my opinion. But I was raised and used to basically be around toxic people all the time. But getting to know someone before you place judgment on them is always a good idea. Anyway, so, it's a quote by Carl Jung, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Carl Jung or Carl Jung, I'm not sure. All I know is, I think it's that red book right there. It is just like a book of his quotes and stuff. That's all I really know about it. I've seen his name all over the place, so I was like, you know what? I think it's a good bet for me to think that I need to get one of his books. And so I did, when I was able to. Anyway, the quote says, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." I'm going to try that again because that was silly. "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." And I feel like that is important to remember because a lot of people, myself included, I grew up being taught and told to take care of everyone else and think of myself last, but everyone else's problems always was priority in my life, so I never focused on myself until like 2020, really? Yeah, 2020 is really the year that I ended up being able to think of myself and do things for myself instead of killing myself to take care of everyone else. Because that's not a good place to be, really. It's good to learn how to take care of yourself. It's really difficult when you were taught differently, but it's really good to acknowledge it, be very conscious about it. Anyway, let's go to the last one. Hey! This is perfect. It says forgive self. I will show it to you. But it says forgive self. That's so perfect. Right after I was talking about God. Anyway, accept what has happened and give yourself grace to make mistakes. There you go. Forgive yourself. God, I am so bad at words, but forgive yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Learn how to be gentle with yourself. You're not going to be good at it at first. I'm still not good at it, and I've been trying really hard since the end of 2020, really. I started, seeking out therapy, seeking out a few different things. And it helped me get to where I am now, which, honestly, it's a very lonely place that I'm in now. Because I've had to let people go. other people have decided to let me go. It's a difficult time. But, you know, I'm trying. We're all trying. And that's all you can do sometimes is try and keep trying. But let's drink more of this. See, I'm weird. A lot of people, random tangent, but a lot of people hate the taste of coffee, but they love the caffeine. I am the other way around. I can't do caffeine. I shouldn't do caffeine. It's a really bad time because my anxiety goes up here and my depression goes down here, and it gets pretty bad. Let's just stick with that. It gets pretty bad. But I love the taste of coffee. Usually. The aftertaste, not my favorite, but the taste initially is pretty good to me. But like coffee with chocolate, I can't do it most of the time, but like fuck, it tastes so good. Alright, that. And also, yeah, there's just like a bunch of stars back here, and I think that's pretty. And also, this is the kind of front card, and it just has that, so I'm like, well, it's not like a card, so I'm just gonna leave it out of the deck whenever I use it. Makes sense to me. But anyway, it's been very good. Because I understand being defensive, especially if you grow up with a lot of people that are narcissists. It's your first reaction because that's the only way you even slightly had a voice. Even slightly. Like, you didn't have a voice even when you were defensive. Like, it was dismissed almost harder sometimes because I would get defensive. But it was a really hard thing to learn, to be like, okay, I am defensive. This is who I am. I keep doing that and I'm sorry. But I do get defensive. I still do. And I try not to. And I try not to overthink. I try not to do lots of things. My anxiety talks for me daily. Daily. It gets really bad sometimes. But I still get defensive. Because my brain, when I hear something that one of my exes said, or something that my parents would allude to, or they would say, or they would decide something for me, or something like that, my brain automatically goes into, no, it's not like that, blah, blah, blah. I got in trouble for basically existing growing up because I guess because I'm the oldest or something. Like, I would just exist. For example, something that happened a lot growing up is I got spanked a lot because one of my sisters would basically do a bunch of shit and then lie about it, and then it would come back to me and it's my fault. And I'm like, no. Megan lies all the time. And, like, I do shit for you guys. Why am I getting in trouble? So basically, anything I did was wrong anyway, so why do the right thing? It was really hard to get out of that mindset, but I cared about people too much to the point where it basically, like I said, it basically killed me in the way that I tried really hard to take care of people, but I was still blunt and honest, so I lost people because I'm very blunt. And for example, this one girl, Christina, from high school, she had a lot of things going on pretty constantly. Her dad cheated on her mom, and they found out about it, and he got really abusive, very toxic, very quickly about it. And I was there trying to comfort her. She went through all of the motions of, like, it must be my fault that he's leaving, that he just didn't want to be in this family anymore, especially with the values that he said he had, which was divorce is not in our vocabulary, which is exactly what I grew up with. And it really sucks that happened. And then soon after, this guy that she had been dating kind of on and off, he cheated on her. And she wanted me to be there in general, but then she told me, I want you to be there so that you can say say what I want to say if I'm not able to say it. So I was just kind of the stand-in. I don't remember what it is in, like, play terminology. The understudy. I was basically the understudy for her breaking up with him and everything. So she ended up talking at one point, but I did most of the talking for her. I didn't remember what she said exactly, but I was like, this is the gist of what I remember. But anyway, after that, she ended up dating this guy that lived in, like, Nebraska or something. Excuse me. But I was like, I really don't like just the feeling of him when I think, like, I never met him, which was one thing. I was like, I'm very protective over people that I care about. And so I was like, I don't like him. And that's when I should have realized that my intuition is pretty great. It's not always right, because that's just kind of the way of the world, really. But my intuition has always been, like, pretty spot on since I was young, honestly. But my mom didn't like it, so I tried to stop. Anyway. Found out a few months later that he had been cheating on her the entire time. The entire relationship that they were in, he had been cheating on her the entire time. And I have a little more tact now as I've gotten older. At the time, I had no tact. And the thing that I said to her was, I told you so. I literally said, I told you so. Well, basically, I didn't say I told you so. I was like, I might have said I told you so, actually. Or something like it. Just very similar, just basic, and just like, you're dumb. I told you. Do you want me to be surprised right now? And then she stopped talking to me for some reason. And, you know, it was high school, so it hurt a lot. Her saying, or like her, she stopped talking to me. And then on her Facebook, remember, again, this was high school, so I don't care about this so much anymore, but at the time it hurt. She posted like the next day, and she just would not talk to me at all. But the next day, she basically said, "Oh my God, my best friend in the whole wide world, Joanna, and I, blah, 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 blah." I don't fault Joanna on this at all. I hope if you ever see this, Joanna, I don't blame you or anything. Like, I didn't have tact in high school. She's also like one of the sweetest, mwah, sweetest little pumpkins. Just so cute. And her friend Katie, I like met them through a church friend or something like that. But anyway, it did hurt. And then years, it feels like almost every year after that, she has tried to contact me. Christina has. She will try to contact me, talk to me, and she follows me on a bunch of different platforms like Instagram and stuff. And I told her in high school, when she tried to come back and be like, "No, we should be friends and hang out," I told her, "Leave me alone. We're never going to be friends again. Hopefully you can get it through your thick skull. We're not going to be friends again. I don't care how old we get." And I have stood by that, honestly. I'm like, no, you don't get to walk all over me again. I need to be healthy for myself and everything, but she still tries. To this day, I am 28. I'm going to be 29 not very long. And she still tries to like find me. She hasn't tried to like talk to me or anything in a while, but she still tries to find me on different social medias and add me and stuff. And I pretty much, I block her. I block her. I don't care. She's not my favorite person. I'm not going to change my mind, because a lot of people, especially from the high school that I went to, that they either changed drastically or they have not changed at all. And there is no in between. I don't know if it's like that with everyone, but I've seen a few of them out in the wild, and like one of them noticed me and was like, "Hey, I think we went to high school." I'm like, "Yeah, you were kind of a douche." But they look almost exactly the same. And they act and think in almost exactly the same way that they did in high school. And I'm like, that's just sad. Honestly, it's really sad. I think that people should change and grow and better themselves and not get stuck in a town, not get stuck in a little... I don't care who you are, you shouldn't get stuck somewhere. You should learn and grow in whatever way you need to. Everyone grows and learns in vastly different ways. And I know that. You can learn and grow in your own way. But change something up. Because, oh my goodness. If your hair looks the same as it did in high school, unless you actually looked cool. Like, actually had a look that's timeless and not just 90s skater boy. Yeah. I mean, you should at least change up your look. But I've been a hairstylist for 9 years, so I feel like people should change their look up all the time. I do. I try to. Whenever I can, I do change up my look just all the time. Wow. I guess that was a lot of shit talk, but oh well. It's something I needed to get off my chest, apparently. Like, I've talked about it before, but this feels more final in a way, where it's like, this is the final resting place of these thoughts. And this is one way that I'm learning to heal, is talk about it. And I didn't realize until right now that this is how I'm supposed to help myself heal, is talk about it on YouTube. Whether or not people actually watch my shit, who fucking cares? I don't have to do it any specific way, but it already feels like it's helping. Like I'm actually releasing instead of holding things in. Because I have a lot of feelings that I had to hold in because of family, because of a lot of things. It's ridiculous, honestly. But that is an interesting thing to know about myself. I think so, anyway. But anyway, I love you guys. Remember to forgive yourself. Learn how to be gentle with yourself. To accept what has happened as what has happened. Accept that at least a majority of toxic people are not going to apologize. You need to find a different way to get closure from those people and not wait on them, because they're not going to. They're on the next thing that they're trying to do, whether it be destroy another person's life or go to school and what their grades might be. They're not thinking about it. It's on your mind all the time. And not to say that you need to just dismiss it from your mind. That's not healthy either. But learn what closure is for you, what it can be for you. You know, when you have ADHD, you cannot sit still. My leg, I have such poor circulation that this leg is just like, you know what, if you keep sitting like that, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm like, really? Why? Thick thighs, man. They save lives and everything, but apparently they don't have great circulation. Or I have sharp bones. I don't know how that works. Anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. Whether you be with family or friends, or if you're alone, like me. That's why I'm doing this, is because I don't have anyone around. So, no one's there to stop me. Anyway, remember that if you're alone, you are loved. You may not know by who. You may not believe anyone who says, tells you to your face or through text or anything, but you're loved by someone. probably someone who doesn't talk to you very much because they also have that anxiety or depression and they just are trying. They're trying. I keep going on little tangents. Anyway, all of that to say, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, and I hope that all of you have a wonderful Happy New Year. I'll probably record something on my birthday, because why not? And see you on the other side.